What's up, everyone? Welcome back to District Baseball. It is our first episode of the 2024 regular season as opening day has come and gone. We are well into the first series of the year, with some series already having been wrapped. I'm Nick. You can follow me on Twitter at the Coach Moose. He is Trey. You can follow him on Twitter at reverse 2Rs 2Ss, and the show at District BSB. Packed episode. We actually get to talk baseball, real occurring baseball this episode. Cannot wait to dive into it and overreact to everything. Everything we're talking about tonight is an overreaction, and I cannot wait. Trey, what's going on?
Yeah, well, like you said, everything that's happened this weekend is going to continue for the rest of the season exactly how it
Absolutely.
was. It will not change.
Yep.
Everything
This
about
sample,
the first series
this
means everything.
2 to 3 game sample can be extrapolated over 162 without question.
Yes, full-blown overreaction Mondays, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was a really, really fun opening weekend, as it normally is, because it's the beginning of baseball. But yeah, it was spicy as well. We'll get to it. But there was some good stuff this week.
Yep, plenty to get to today. But we're going to kick it off with kind of a new segment. We're going to call it 3 up, 3 down, just kind of hard-hitting, 3 kind of stock up players or teams, what have you, and 3 stock down players, teams. But to introduce this segment, Trey, take it away.
Welcome to 3 Up, 3 Down, everybody. So this is going to be our recap segment, hopefully, if you guys like it. But we're going to go ahead and start with who's up. Who's up first? It's Mr. Mookie Betts, because, oh my goodness, this guy's on a tear to start the season. He's got 4 homers already. He's 11 for 18 before their current Sunday night game, which is actually happening right now as we speak. But 11 for 18, 4 homers, 2 doubles with 10 RBIs, 7 walks. Absolutely going nuts to start the year. Good for Mookie. Our first player down, though, Royce Lewis. Man, this guy, he just can't stay healthy. Just cannot catch a break. Severe quad strain is the injury, is what they're calling it. He's going to miss at least 1 month, potentially 2 months. It's not a season ender, so that's good. He was in pretty good spirits about it because of that, but first game in, man. And he homered his first at bat.
I was going to say he homered too, yeah.
It's absolutely brutal, so, hopefully a clear recovery for him and can get back on the field. Our second up, though, go back to the positives. We're going with Yankees fans. They are loving life right now because their golden boy, with Mr. Juan Soto, after the trade, just going completely nuts. They sweep the Astros, 4-game sweep of the Astros, and honestly, Soto was the catalyst. He was all over the place. 9 for 17.
MVP pick.
Yep, your MVP pick starting out hot, had a homer yesterday, and a super clutch game-winning RBI against Josh Hader today. Second down, though, is the Astros bullpen, because these guys are supposed to be the cream of the crop. They're supposed to be the best.
Yeah. And
all 3 of their top dogs, Presley, Abreu, and Hader, struggled. Hader was better than the other 2, but they all blew games. Today. Yep, took a loss today. I think Abreu and Hader both have a loss already. Presley has given up a run in each of his outings so far, and Hader gave up the base hit to Soto today that sealed that game for the Yankees. So the Astros bullpen gonna need to step it up big time, which I expect that they'll recover. And finally, our final up here is going to be the juniors, Bobby Witt and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., both having excellent opening series. They had 13 hits combined, or 16 hits combined, 13 of which were for extra base hits. And Bobby Witt almost hit for the cycle today, got close, and Lourdes Gurriel sets D-backs franchise record with 3 straight homers to start the season. Never been done before in Arizona. And our third down is going to be C.B. Buckner, the umpire. Reds versus Nationals. He was the first sub 90% accuracy via ump scorecards this year, and that's C.J. Abrams at bat. I think in the 9th inning kind of told you. I mean, the box on the screen isn't everything, but all 4 of the pitches in that final at bat of CJ's yesterday touched the box, and all 4 were called balls by C.B. Buckner. So it was a rough day for CB, as it normally is when he's behind the plate. But that was 3 up, 3 down, first time. I think that went pretty well. Yeah,
I think so. The big one for me, there's a couple of notable ones, and obviously we'll dive into specifically the 4-0 sweeps here in a little bit. But the Yankees sweeping the Astros is Yes, it's March. It's not even April yet. It's March. So I get it, and it has no bearing on what may happen in September, October. But the Astros have always had the Yankees number. Always. No matter what version of the Astros team is out there, whether it was the, Springers and Correas of the world, and obviously now kind of led by, Altuve's still there, but like Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez, the Astros have always dominated, right? And the Yankees, regardless of what version of the Yankees have been out there for the past, 5 to 7 years, they may perform well in the regular season, but they always implode and sometimes even miss the playoffs completely, right? But this has felt like a new Yankees team. Like they went out and made the big splash for Juan Soto. Even Alex Verdugo came in clutch today with the kind of game-saving catch. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it feels like a new Yankees team. They're definitely dealing with injuries, and the pitching is a concern because of all those injuries. But sweeping the Astros to start the season, it's a statement.
Yeah.
Regardless of what month it is, it's a statement for sure. So that was the one big one where I kind of thought Astros would win like 3-1 maybe. No, Yankees went out and sweep. So that was like, oh, okay, all right, that's different. That's different. But yeah, that Astros bullpen, like you mentioned, not off to the start that they would have envisioned.
Yeah, and I think they'll, like I said, I think they'll pick it up. It was just the one series, but the Yankees played with some swagger. They looked like they were energized, they were locked in, and they had some help from some of their young guys, as well as Soto obviously being epic. No Garrett Cole. Aaron Judge has 2 hits, and you sweep on the road. That's impressive. I don't care if it was the first series. Yep. But you know what else was impressive? The Diamondbacks. I
know exactly what.
My goodness. 14
They're
runs.
They're so fun.
One inning.
So fun.
Absolutely. If you want a team to watch that isn't your team, the D-backs, because every single game is entertaining. And opening day was no exception. The 14 runs scored in the third inning, I believe, second or third inning, was a franchise record for opening day, and I think all time for the D-backs.
Opening day. So, certainly for the D-backs,
so that was really crazy. And just some interesting stats I've got here. Every batter for the D-backs hit twice in that inning, which is crazy. That doesn't really happen very often. But also, they scored 14 runs and didn't homer. That's crazy for modern baseball to have that many players see plate appearances in the same inning.
Death by paper cut.
It was singles and doubles and walks. It was all over the place. It wasn't like they were blooping or anything, though. They were crushing Rockies pitchers. They had to use 3 of them in that inning. Kyle Freeland was the starter. He got bounced pretty early in that inning, and then they still couldn't get out of it. So, honestly, just a crazy performance, just a crazy statistical performance. D-backs did win that series 3-1. So, Nick, I got a question for you. Is that more on the D-backs as a great team, or is it more on the Rockies as a bad team?
If I had to put percentages, I would say 75% Diamondbacks.
Okay.
Mainly because good teams beat the teams they're supposed to beat, right? Like that's just a blanket statement across all sports, right? But we can see teams beat the Rockies, but it might be like 7-5. It might be, 10-9. We've seen those games, right? But the Diamondbacks lost a game, but they won the series. That's kind of what I'm focusing on here. The Diamondbacks did so convincingly, and that's what I'm looking at, right? Yes, we all know the Rockies are really, really bad. They have a legitimate shot to be the worst team in baseball, but the Diamondbacks going out there and just like not playing with their food, I think that kind of sets the tone in some ways for how they are viewing this season. They're not viewing last season as a fluke. We saw that by how they approached the offseason, adding, Eugenio Suarez and later, Jordan Montgomery and Eduardo Rodriguez and Jock Peterson. Like, they're really trying to go for it. They were really close last year and with a lesser team. Mm-hmm. So, yes, they still have the work cut out for them. Yes, there's still like 158 more games to be played. But they're not treating this like, oh, it's just the Rockies. They're treating it as like it's our year, and that it's intoxicating to watch. It's like some of the best baseball you could watch right now.
Yeah, the energy level is just they don't slow down. They are always keeping that energy level up. And it should be noted too, they're not full strength with their pitching staff at all. They are still. No. Eduardo Rodriguez had a small injury. He should be coming back by May. And then also Jordan Montgomery isn't ready yet, so that
he needs to ramp
stretched out. But once they have that full squad, and then Fott today was pretty good. That's a 5 rotation right there that you're loving. Yeah. Combined with that crazy offense right now. I mean, we'll see if they can, sustain some of that. But I'm expecting them to be able to. That offense is very strong.
I have truly no, like, the only concern I would have for them is like the star power in terms of the lineup. Like, we see it every postseason, whether it was like Bryce Harper. I know they didn't win, but like Bryce Harper, for us, it was obviously like Juan Soto and like all of the big names. You need those guys come playoff time. And obviously Corbin Carroll's very, very great. But after Corbin Carroll, who is it? Like, who is it going to be for them? So I think they're deep enough, but do they have the kind of the elite guys that every World Series team pretty much has? They have it in the rotation for sure. That rotation's really, really good, but can everything else play to that level? But I have no concerns about them whatsoever.
I mean,
which is kind of crazy.
They are fun. That's as simple as it gets. But yeah.
What else is fun is some of the pitching performances we saw all across the league, especially on opening day. I mean, yeah, opening day is fun because typically you see the best of the best, and the aces all pitching the same day, all at once against each other. Like, obviously there's some exceptions with guys not being ready, injured, whatever, but there was so many good pitching like so many. Like, it's hard to even point to one, and we're not even going to cover them all. But obviously the first one I want to talk about is Corbin Burns. Because Corbin Burns was exceptional. Obviously, all eyes were on him being the first game of the year. I mean, outside of the Soul Series, obviously, but like the first game of the year, time-wise, that kicked off kind of the string of opening day games. Obviously, Cy Young Award winner on a new team. He looked great, and you could tell like both the Orioles team and their fans, they were just energized. It took me back to I'm going to get this year right, 2014 Orioles with like all those playoff games.
That was the specific crowd moment from that playoffs was like, that's what O's fans can bring to the table for sure.
Right, and that's how it felt on opening day. Like, I talked about the Diamondbacks being intoxicating. Like, I find it really hard to root against the Orioles, and I'm not one of those Nationals fans that's like, oh, the Orioles are the enemy, you can't root for them. I've never been that way. So, like, just
I just didn't like Angelos, but he's gone.
No, and that's fine. I mean, he's actually gone now. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, well, okay, I meant the other one. Sorry.
No, it was
yikes.
Really unfortunate timing, but it's pretty funny. No, but like, the Orioles are just so much fun to watch right now because everyone just feel that energy. It's intoxicating. Like, I hate using the same word over and over, but it's just like, it's so cool to feel the crowd watching through your TV, right? I mean, you get that with playoff games and whatnot, but like to get that from opening day, it's so just contagious. So seeing Corbin Burns really live up to that was awesome. Poor Mike Trout. Trout, man.
I was going to say, the only guy that got him the whole day was Trout. I mean, if one guy's going to get you, might as well be that guy.
Mike Trout hits home run in first at-bat of 24 season, the first player in all of it, or to homer in all of Major League for the 2024 season, as the Angels get routed 11-2.
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, now it's you just take the Tungsten Armo Doyle out of that, and it's just Mike Trout and the Angels sucking.
Poor Mike Trout, man. Poor Mike Trout.
I got a stat,
Corbin Burns was awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say Corbin Burns. First of all, he showed what an ace really looks like for that team. And Grayson Rodriguez, by the way, had a good outing as well. So
looked real good.
Yeah, but Corbin Burns is undisputed the ace right now. I have a stat, though, because there were so many great opening day performances, and we are going to lump in the Brewers-Mets and Phillies-Braves game from Friday because those were rescheduled opening days, so they were their first games. But if you add those in, opening day pitchers who win at least 6 innings while giving up 2 runs or less on opening day, the list goes as follows. Corbin Burns, Jose Barrios, Tariq Skubal, Garrett Crochet, Frankie Montas, Logan Webb, Tyler Glasnow, Pablo Lopez, Cole Ragans, Nate Eovaldi, Shane Bieber, Freddie Peralta, Zach Wheeler. That's a lot of pitchers who did pretty dang good.
That was just on one day.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I am counting those Friday games just
or
because,
one first game.
Yeah,
like,
first game. It was, you guys get it. But just crazy performances all around, and that's just opening day. There were other great performances as well. Logan Gilbert last night goes 7 and absolutely shoves with this disgusting splitter slider combo that I had not seen him break out much.
George Kirby was excellent.
I mean, we can talk about the Mariners. I mean, their pitching is great, but yeah, just some great, awesome pitching performances despite the amount of injuries that there are. There seems to be some depth in MLB pitchers, so some good stuff. Garrett Crochet, I want to mention real quick.
Dude, that I was just about to mention. The one guy I really want to mention was Crochet, just because I'm not sure how much we're going to talk about the White Sox this year.
That's true, but I mean, when he was coming through, like in 20, when he had kind of had his little breakout, obviously it didn't really count because it was 20, but people were in on him, and I get why, but obviously the injuries kind of took the hype away. But man, if he's going to look like that, the White Sox have a stud in the making. So, yeah, good for him.
I saw, I might have been a TikTok, and, no free ads, but, like, they were building rotation from each division, and someone said the AL Central might have the best rotation. And I was like, no. But then I thought about it. I was just like, all right, Pablo Lopez, Garrett Crochet, or like one guy from each team. I mean,
the top guys are pretty good.
Cole Ragans, Pablo Lopez, Garrett Crochet, Tarek Skubal. Like, I'm just like, okay, that rotation's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
So,
who would be the fifth from?
The Guardians, so Bieber.
Guardians. Yeah, so Bieber, Bybee.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Take a pick.
That's really good. Yeah.
So I honestly kind of forgot about the Guardians because of who they played this weekend, but that was the series I paid the least amount of attention to.
Yeah, that's the series I made the most money on. Just
nice.
The A's.
Nice, congratulations.
Appreciate it. Although all that money's gone, thanks FanDuel, because of the Super Boost.
Oh yeah,
freaking
same.
Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. But yeah, all right, let's move on. So there was obviously a lot of great pitching performances, which I love because that draws attention, and you feel the energy and stuff. The other thing that draws attention, and the other thing you feel energy, is when these teams go at it, and I mean fisticuffs, right? Mm-hmm. Really going at it. And we had multiple bench clearing situations. Rhys Hoskins, we can obviously dive into that. We had I can't remember the Rays pitcher, just
Genesis Cabrera.
Yeah, mash someone in the face with his glove.
Yeah,
Love that. That got me going. What are your thoughts? I mean, it's opening weekend. We have multiple bench clearing situations. I really wish they would let, players do the hockey thing and just kind of settle it real quick. 2 minutes, then you're done. They don't do that, but we still get bench clearing brawls. I guess they weren't really a brawl, but situations.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those kind of few altercations, so to speak?
Well, first of all, I love it. I love to have rivalries in everywhere, but especially within the division for the Rays and Blue Jays specifically. And obviously, Hoskins being a Philly for most of his career probably had something to do with the fact that the Mets didn't appreciate his slide. I think the slide itself, it's legal. I don't think anyone's disputing that at this point.
Yeah.
But it was definitely late, and he definitely spiked him in the ankle. So I get why the Mets were mad. Maybe McNeil took it he went a little too far with it, but
yeah.
I totally get why he's mad. I mean, obviously you go back in history and you've seen the Mets be very affected by poor slides. Chase Utley comes to mind. And so apparently they've had beef. I mean, the Mets and Hoskins have had beef for years because there was the Hoskins slow trot situation after he got ball thrown over his head. I thought it was all fine until the Mets kind of ruined it because they pitched to Hoskins. He hit a homer in the game after this. And that's that. At that point, you lost. You have to take your L.
Move
if you're gonna pitch to him, if you're gonna try and get him out, and he homers off you, that's it. He wins.
Yeah.
But the Mets, they could not take their L with dignity, and they threw behind him in a late inning appearance when they were already losing by 5. And the pitcher, I don't remember who it was, but he actually was suspended for 3 games because of that. It was pretty clearly intentional to me.
But then their manager comes out and says it's not intentional. Like, either own it or don't own it, but like you can't do anything.
That's my thing. It's like, they kind of ruined it. Like I was somewhat 50-50 after the slide and after that all happened, but now I can't support the Mets doing what they did afterwards. Once the home run is hit, that's it. Just take your L, move on. Try to get him out next time. How about that?
Yeah, so like I get it from both sides. It's a legal slide. Is it a dirty play? No, but it's not the cleanliest play either.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it, honestly.
So it's like I get taking exception to it. Did I think it warranted a bench clearing situation? No, not at all. I also thought it was hilarious how immediately after the game, might even have been during the game, there's that clip of McNeil sliding this last year, a couple of years ago, whatever, and I think it was against the Reds, where McNeil's slide is well outside of the base path, sliding into the second baseman. Like, at least Hoskins was in line with the base.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get an advantage out there.
He overslid it for sure, right, and made contact with McNeil, so McNeil's allowed to feel the way he feels, but have a little awareness to realize that we have access to literally every single highlight ever
the internet
possible.
Is forever.
Right, exactly. And we can find the clip. Like, if you look, I don't know if you're gonna splice it in here, Trey, but like, it is so far off the second base line where it's just like, oh my god, like there's just, it's just, so I get it, and you're certainly allowed. There's the unwritten rules of baseball are so stupid, but they're also there for a reason.
If they threw behind him right away,
the next at bat,
like
I would be more okay with
that
it.
Second game, I still wouldn't love it, but I would be like,
Me neither.
Okay, at least.
But I would understand
the
it.
message is sent, and now it's done.
The only thing I can think of
yeah.
that they didn't do is because they didn't want their starter to get ejected like in the first inning. But again, if you have that concern, then you've already lost. Well, that you could use an opener.
I think I've seen teams do that before. Like,
right. Yeah, exactly.
So
but it's like you've already lost. If you're going to wait to retaliate, so to speak, then you've already lost.
Yeah,
and just move on. Mm-hmm. And also, like, if you're going to throw at someone, throw at the lower half of the body. Like, I get it. You want to send a message
behind the butt,
behind their head. Right. Yeah. It hurts just as much, I promise. So, the Mets are just a bunch of babies.
That's how it came off looking to me in the end.
Yeah. If they had just cleared the benches, they hate each other, and moved on, I would have no problem with how the Mets took exception to it. But I take exception to how the Mets responded because it was not like it was just very.
It was just petty at that point.
It was bitchy. Like it was just bitch moves. Like, to be honest, they just did not handle it. Right. Yeah. Move on.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now you're 0-3. Yeah. You got swept. Move on.
By the Brewers.
Right. It was just silly.
Yeah. The other one
though, I don't even fully know what happened.
Yeah, it was so
some
awkward.
Words were exchanged.
I think he was like, Cabrera was mad that he made a bad throw. And they kind of just bumped into each other, and then
obviously we won't know what was said
some stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, unless he said some magic word, I can't really understand why Cabrera just
what's the magic word?
He just two hands shoved his face. I don't know. It was crazy.
It was very Veritech A-Rod from 2008 or whenever that year was.
Yeah, just a full-on push. But yeah, he got suspended 3 games as well for doing that.
Worth it.
A couple suspensions. That one was more funny than anything to me because I just didn't get it. I still don't get it.
I know we'll never get the hockey thing. I know we never will, but with how I'm not a traditionalist for baseball by any means, but I do want to make sure this particular aspect of the game never loses itself, where it's we move so far away from players showing emotion or personality or whatever. Benches clearing is just part of the game.
Yeah, and I benches clearing is entertaining. So yeah,
it's so entertaining. I'm not rooting for people to get hurt. In hockey, I'm not rooting for people to get hurt. It's fun as shit when someone really lands a big right hook, though. And, that's kind of how I am in baseball. If they're all at each other and yelling and screaming in each other's face, that's cool. I like that. Just like I like managers getting ejected. That doesn't happen in football. It doesn't happen really in basketball. Like baseball is the only one where like managers get ejected like on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah,
so like I want that stuff to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's why I'm against full-blown robot umps. I like the challenge idea, but full-blown robot umps I'm not a fan.
We can kind of circle back to the CB Buckner thing, but like the what are they calling it? The ABS challenge?
I don't actually know, but yeah, it's some acronym like that.
For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, there's a clip going on. I don't even know what league it was, independent ball or minor leagues, whatever. It's in the minors now. Basically, pitch is thrown. If the batter doesn't agree with it, taps his helmet, and then they show it basically immediately on the jumbotron. They use it's
like the tennis line challenge,
right?
Sort of thing. It's
awesome.
Sick.
It's awesome, and I obviously there's going to have to be some rules for how it's implemented in baseball, or at least the major leagues, I should say. It's like maybe you get 3 per game. If you win 2, you get 1 back or something like that. Because even the better umpire scorecards, they're like 96%, which is good.
Yeah, that's fine.
That, but there's going to be missed calls, right? Even if you have a great day, there's going to be missed calls. So it's like you can't just give infinite, challenges or anything like that. So I think 3. That's just the number I'm coming up with. It could be anything. Obviously, 27 outs in a game, many more at bats during a game. So it'll be interesting to see how it's called. And obviously, teams aren't going to want to burn it in the first inning. But
it'll be interesting to see strategy as well.
It's necessary.
When they use them.
It's necessary for sure.
And fun, I think.
Yeah, I think it's electric.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that. And if you're feeling the electricity, you're probably not feeling it any more than if you're a fan of the Yankees or Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about the Yankees a little bit, and we can circle back to some of that because that's certainly an interesting, I won't say development, because the Yankees have always had that kind of aura around them of whether they were a good team or not, like being a good team or a good franchise, because obviously of the history associated with them. But the Pirates have not. The Pirates have been the exact opposite of that. And to come out the way they have, obviously they have the young guys, O'Neal Cruz, Jared Jones, we can talk about, just electric. Electric. And they have more in the minors coming up. But 4-0 to start for them, that's got to be pretty exciting for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and man, it came from Brian Hayes was huge in that series, and I'm expecting him to continue with this. He was basically impossible for the Marlins to get out for most of that series, as was Brian Reynolds, who is looking at a potential bounce back this year.
They need him to step up, and so far so good.
Yeah, I mean the metrics look pretty good from last year. It seemed like he had some poor luck, so if that switches on his head, obviously that's a big deal. Your favorite guy, Michael A. Taylor, had a pretty good weekend too. I have
no idea who that is.
Yeah, it's just some guy, but he was pretty good. But yeah, the Pirates are fun. I know you picked them to finish better than last year, which they were solid last year despite not having any expectations. Now there's some expectations because they actually have some guys, and I don't know. I think they clutched as well. They won 2 extra inning games. So,
right.
Maybe that's not necessarily sustainable for the whole year or anything, but they were pretty dominant on offense against a pitching staff that's supposed to be good. I know that they're kind of decimated by injuries right now, but their bullpen was supposed to be good too, and they got crushed, the Marlins. I can't remember. Where did I have the Pirates finish? Do you remember what my NL Central predictions were? I think you had them finishing 3rd. Which is...
So I had Cubs, Reds, Pirates? Is that what I had?
I think you went Cubs, Reds, Pirates. Did you do Cardinals 4th or 5th?
I had Cardinals...
Yeah, because you picked the Brewers 5th. So you had Cardinals 4th, Pirates 3rd. So your pick is looking solid.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually going to double down on that. The Pirates are finishing 2nd in this division.
Ooh, fun. I mean... They got some guys, and they do have reinforcements coming from the minors at some point. Like
I'm all in.
I love it.
I love these teams just performing well.
Yeah, I know. So
we don't get it at home, so I got to look for it elsewhere.
Yeah, the competition's great. But yeah, the Pirates, fun to watch, and they play our Nationals starting tomorrow. So that should be interesting.
That's true.
And then the Yankees we did mention earlier, but my predictions look pretty good. I picked them to be the top team in the AL, and they are. So I think I win. But yeah, they were great, and it was just, like I said, it was the energy from them all throughout the team. It wasn't just, one guy making it happen. Obviously, Soto was big, but Oswaldo Cabrera had a huge series. Anthony Volpe played really well as well. And if those two guys are going to add to this lineup, then that's a big, big win for the Yankees. So if they can get their pitching to an acceptable level, obviously Garrett Cole coming back eventually is going to help that. But I would also, look for a potential trade with this team as well.
I was just going to say, I was really trying to peddle Patrick Corbin to the Yankees. I don't know if anyone in New York saw it, but that first inning, Patrick Corbin 3 up, 3 down, I was like, the Yankees need this guy. Yankees need this guy.
They need to put that $30 million on their books.
Yeah. Hey, listen, by the time June rolls around, it'll be about $16 million. So
yeah, that's true.
That's nothing. Nats eat like $6 million of that, get a better prospect in return. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I'm down. I'm so down.
Patrick Corbin, instrumental in winning a World Series.
Yes,
Yankees need that.
Forgets.
Everyone forgets.
They need the clutch experience.
The North remembers. And then I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Tigers. Yeah, they played the White Sox. Both Central divisions are really hard to pin down. I think most anyone who talks baseball will agree with that. The Tigers are a team I'm like wondering to myself if I'm just underrating a little bit, because AJ Hinch is just a good manager. Like, he's just a really good manager, regardless of what your opinion is on him, I guess, character-wise, like with the whole Astros cheating thing. He's a good manager. He's making a difference there as much as a manager can make an impact in baseball. So I'm just wondering, Tarek Skubal takes the next step. If Jack Flaherty, which I know they won today, I didn't see how Flaherty pitched.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, so if, like, Flaherty can kind of bounce back a little bit, that rotation fills out, and guys like Torkelson or Riley Green take the next step. Like, I just wonder if the Tigers can be a little bit better than everyone expects. So yes, it's the White Sox. Yes, they did what they were supposed to do, and they weren't particularly convincing about it. They only scored 11 runs in the series. But
their pitching looked really good, though. I will say. I mean, again, it is the White Sox, but
right. So
we'll be monitoring them for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely on notice in a good way.
Like,
let's keep an eye on these guys. So
for sure.
Good for the Tigers starting 3-0 as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think that's all we got though for this particular episode. So this is kind of how our episodes are going to go for the regular season. They're going to be a little bit shorter, but we're going to be a little bit more rapid fire because obviously, we're only talking week to week, so there's not as many games to talk about. But yeah, if you guys want to check us out, check out our links in the description. Our Twitter is on screen as well if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Follow me at Reverse 2Rs 2Ss. Follow Nick at the Coach Moose on X, and follow us on TikTok at District Baseball. Nick, anything else?
No, I always say that. I say no, and then I say something anyways. The one thing we didn't really talk about that I want to talk about, Julio Rodriguez walk-off, absolutely electric.
Yes.
Julio Rodriguez.
That was a great comeback win for the Mariners as well that night.
Yep.
Julio coming out clutch.
Julio Rodriguez is cool. I like Julio Rodriguez. So.
Yep. But we will see you guys in the next episode, and for now, let's go baseball.
Let's go baseball.